Agbabobo. A lot to talk about, fallouts from the weekend matches, but we'll start with the countdown to the 2021 AFCON qualifier between Nigeria and Sierra Leone, which will be played in Benin City on Friday, the 13th of November. Players expect to start arriving today. We'll give you an update as we talk about some issues surrounding the build-up to that interesting match. And also, Felix Oduokai, a Nigerian born in Germany, has been called up to the German national team. He took pains to explain why he chose Germany over Nigeria. Is he trying to rub it home to us that he has chosen, he prefers Germany to Nigeria? But we'll get to talk about what he has to say, why he took that decision. Teams may field weakened teams. As you know, we are in the international break, and we're going to have a lot of international matches across the globe. That's why the Super Eagles are playing Sierra Leone. In Europe, there will be Nations Cup Nations League matches, and of course friendly matches by involving various teams. And the news is that because of the resurgence of COVID-19 across Europe, a lot of players have been banned from traveling, which means they will not be playing for their various national teams this weekend. We will be talking about that issue and also some major talking points from some league across Europe. We're not going to talk about a particular league. We're just going to pick some matches from the various leagues across Europe that add some major talking points, like the 4-1 thrashing of Real Madrid by Valencia. Very surprising result, but then what actually happened? We saw the VAR controversy in the match between Leicester and Wolves, and Arsenal losing at home to Aston Villa after going to Old Trafford to beat Man United last season. Many Arsenal fans thought that their season had finally started, but then they were brought home down to earth by Aston Villa yesterday. These are many other matches we're talking about, and also from Bahrain comes the news that the Grand Prix, talking about Formula One, that will be staged between the 29th of November and the 6th of December, will have only health workers as spectators. Normally, spectators are not allowed, but the Bahrain authorities, organizers of the Bahrain Grand Prix, say they will allow families of health workers as a tribute to the work the health workers have been doing since this COVID-19 pandemic started. We also have the Super Eagles Watch, where we take a look at the performance of Super Eagles players across the globe. These are more we have for you on the program, so sit back and enjoy your time with us. Let me quickly welcome Austin Arume. Austin, you're welcome. Hope you had a very nice weekend.
It's always my pleasure to be here. My weekend was actually, sports.
I'm sure you saw what happened in Madrid.
Yeah, I saw what happened in Madrid, as well as the Barcelona, issue.
Messi, the great Messi, had to sit on the bench for
Yeah.
the first time after a long time. Well,
Exactly.
we'll talk more about this as we go straight into the program after this break. Come back to the Grand Sports Center, and straight away, the Super Eagles camp is expected to start bubbling today as the players are expected to start coming in. Well, and we understand that they've been having some real traveling issues due to cancelled flight as a result of upsurge of coronavirus in Europe. And but then the coach, Kenneth Roy, is optimistic that he will have his full complement of 23 players by tomorrow. So we are here. The Nigeria versus Sierra Leone match is finally here, just around the corner. The players expected in camp. So if they come in today, they will likely start training tomorrow, and then they will have to train Wednesday and probably Thursday. We know that normally a day to the match they do light workouts. So real intense training maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. Would that be enough to get the players ready for the match against Sierra Leone?
I think it will be enough, because obviously I believe match fit. The players are match fit. Owing to the fact that we have an intensive season, where they get to play 3 matches every day. But the most important thing at this point in time is to have your players, come to camp very early. If we can, if we can have the 23 of them in camp, latest tomorrow, I think it will be a good thing. It will be a good step in the right direction, if I may say, considering, they'll have that time, to familiarize, get to know each other, and, a little bit of training here and there, and, get the Super Eagles players ready for the Sierra Leone match.
Yes, Kenneth Amaro pulled out of the match because of injury.
Yeah.
And we thought that we were going to call up a replacement because initially there were 24 players. Yeah. So with Amaro pulling out, it means there are now 23 players.
Yeah.
So, and it's also, but over the weekend, were there any reports of any player getting injured? Because that would mean problem for the Super Eagles.
No, so far so good. Not heard any report, and it's been all wonderful news coming from Europe. Nigerian players doing well in their various club sides, and I think this is a good one leading into this match. It shows our players are gradually coming back to form, and they're doing the right thing. You saw Siemens scored the winning goal for Napoli over the weekend. We saw the likes of Joe.
Don't let the cat out of the bag. They will have to wait to listen to the Super Eagles watch, which will be coming up later in the program, where we'll get to talk about the performance of Nigerian players in Europe and other parts of the world. Still talking about the Super Eagles. Coach of the Super Eagles, Grande, has admitted that the team or the players have to be at their best for them to beat Sierra Leone. The plan is to win home and away.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
It's very possible. Considering the likes of players we have. Yeah, we've said it times without number. There are no minus in football anymore. But we still have what we call the big boys, the big teams, and the most important thing in a team, is to have the quality. Then, if you check the quality of Nigerian players, if you compare it with what the Leon Stars they have in their squad, I don't think they can compare with the Super Eagles.
And you think the most important thing is the quality?
No, it's not the quality. It's not the most important thing actually, but
because if it's the quality, that means teams don't need to train.
Yeah.
If a Barcelona that has Mercy and all the big stars wants to play a Cadiz, for instance, that don't have a big day, they should just go to sleep.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is important as well. Teamwork is important. Likewise, in a game where you see where there are no headway, it's difficult to find a headway. That's when you see the quality of the players come to bear. And I believe if we can play up to our optimal level or to the quality that I know we have in the squad, I believe it's possible for us to
on a good day.
Home and away. Yeah.
But then he has Grande has also admitted that he does not know much about the Sierra Leoneans. What does that tell you about the way we prepare for matches? Ideally, in this modern time, 21st century, age of social media, internet, and the rest, it's very easy to monitor your opponent. I'm sure that they must have some of their footages, that you could actually watch and everything. So for Grande to say that he doesn't know much about Sierra Leoneans, what does this tell you about preparations? Not just from the coach's side, also from the NFF, who has also provide this kind of footage about our opponents, or are they just underrating Sierra Leone?
Maybe, if coming from that statement, it shows, maybe they are looking down on Sierra Leone a bit. Let me not say outrightly, but because of the fact that you have, just like you said, you have footages flying over the air. It's gone are the days where it's so hard to get footage and all that. But these days, these things are there for you to access. It's not just by going there to watch them, physically anymore. You can look at your players, your opponents. You look at them, you analyze them tactically. That's what advanced countries do. When you go to the European scene, that's what they are doing. That's what is working for them. They try to study the team they are going to play, try to study their strengths, their weaknesses, and then going into the game, you prepare your team, to that to play to that pattern, which will be able to give you that result. So coming from General, I don't think is talking about the fact that there are no footages, but that kind of statement proves for me that they're kind of looking down on the Sierra Leone team at this point in time.
But the fact to him, he said that he's not underrating his Sierra Leoneans, but he may be saying it, but his actions may prove otherwise, given the fact that he said he has not had time to actually study the Sierra Leonean team. But still on this match, he also said, I'm talking about Ganatroa, that the stadium, he has not actually been to the stadium. He said he hopes that the grass is good. He's telling us that he hopes the grass is good. He has been in the country for about a week because he was at his Flying Eagles camp last week. I'm sure that he had enough time to have gone to Benin to take a look at that pitch, so that if there's any issues he needs to raise, if he needs the grass to be cut shorter, because we know that all these things come into play. These are important factors. Sometimes they'll tell you that because the pitch is so wet, that's why they could not play normal football. Sometimes you need to water the pitch harder, or you water it light. So it's the coach that determines it, because depending on the kind of game he wants to play, sometimes the grass determines it. So for him not to have gone to Benin to actually see the state of the pitch, does that not actually tell you that probably just in line with what you're saying about taking it for granted, that Sierra Leone they're beatable any day?
I let me not sound skeptical, but he's the coach, and I don't expect such a statement from him. You cannot be a coach of Nigeria. A venue has been approved. As a coach, you are supposed to go there, check things for yourself.
Or you send your assistant.
You send your
What
assistant.
is there if you're not here?
So it's not supposed to be saying this at this point in time. I don't know. Maybe he's looking for an escape route. I don't know. But at this point in time, I must say, I'm very, very disappointed. Coming from the coach, this is not the kind of thing which we should be hearing, from the coach of Super Eagles.
At this point in time, few days to the match. Well, I still talking about the Super Eagles, Nigeria generally. This one is just a bit outside the Super Eagles. The development in Europe, where a Nigerian was called up to the German national team, it's no longer news that most European countries now field Nigerian players in their national teams. England, for instance, we have, I'm sure that we can have 11 Nigerian players if we have to call those that have been featured, and we can assemble 11 players that have played for England in recent times. Not even talking about those in the past, in recent times. But then countries like Germany also coming into that game, trying to cap Nigerian-born players at international level. We are lucky to have gotten some, snatched some of them, such as Akpoguma, who made his debut in the last friendly matches. But for some of them, they've been able to hold on to some. One of them is Felix Odohai, and he was called up to the German national team. They are going to play in the Euro Nations League. That will be coming up this weekend, and also in some friendly matches and against Czech Republic, Ukraine, and Spain, talking about Euro Nations League. But the funny thing is that he's taking the pains to explain why he chose Germany. Who is bothered?
I don't think anybody is.
He said because he was born in Germany, so that he would have liked to live for Nigeria. Are we missing? Is it such a player that will regret missing out on?
I don't know. Only time will tell. But considering being invited by the German side, it shows he's doing something right.
It's not the first Nigerian
player.
He's not the first. Has played in Germany. Patrick one more year line in the past, I played for Germany. So they must have been good for them to have been invited. But how many times did they play for German national team?
That is the issue. That is the issue. If you can keep up, with that consistency, it's not about being good at a particular point in time. If you are good at that point, you certainly get that invitation. But the fact is, can you keep up with the consistency? That is the problem. And a whole lot, just talking about the fact that he has to take his time to explain. I don't think anybody who will be bothered about that. But he is now saying, that's him trying to explain the fact that he grew up in Germany.
He feels more German than Nigerian.
Yeah, he feels more German than Nigerian.
Wish him good luck. Just like we wish Bukayo Saka good luck, and others that have chosen other countries over Nigeria. But for our own stars who have decided to represent Nigeria, we'll continue to wish them the best, especially as they come home to represent us in this match against Sierra Leone. We're expecting them to start coming in by today, going by information by the Nigerian Football Federation. So hopefully by later today we have a full camp, and like Kurkina Ross said, by tomorrow they will start full training session. So wish the Super Eagles good luck. we'll continue to count down to that match with information about the going-ons in the camp of the Super Eagles as we look forward to Friday's encounter against Sierra Leone. It's still the Grand Sports Center. We'll take a short break, and when we'll come back, we have more for you on the program. It's still the Grand Sports Center on the Grand Sport Extra, and going on the program, national teams, they field weekend sides during this weekend's upcoming friendly matches and the Europe UEFA Nations League matches that are slated for this week and early parts of next week. Because in Italy, players from certain clubs have been banned from traveling. Players from Fiorentina, Sassuolo, Genoa, Roma, Lazio, and Inter have been banned from traveling because they came in contact with COVID-19 affected patients or players as well. So those players have been banned. So and we know that we have a lot of internationals that play in these clubs, representing different countries. So which means those countries where those players come from will not be having the services of their players for this round of international matches. Already, Italy manager Roberto Mancini has tested positive for COVID-19. He's said to be self-isolating, so which means he's not going to be part of these national team's matches already. So some of the players involved that have been affected by this ban include Lautaro Martinez, will not be playing for Argentina, just to give you some of them. Italy, where the home of it all, will miss the services of Biraghi, the Inter Milan midfielder, Barella, D'Ambrosio, all of Inter Milan, and Locatelli, Caputo, then Berardi. Also, and Chile will miss the service of Arturo Vidal, will not be playing because it's also Alexis Sanchez, both of whom play for Inter Milan, so they cannot travel. So Italy will not make use of their services. Mkhitaryan, who plays for Roma, will not play for Armenia because he cannot travel. Also, Inter Milan goalkeeper Andanovic, who is from Slovenia, will miss Slovenia's matches. Matthew De Vrij of Netherlands will also not play for the Netherlands. Romelu Lukaku of Inter Milan cannot play for Belgium. And Croatia's pair of Ivan Perisic and Brozovic of Inter Milan will also not be played for Inter Milan. For Croatia, Denmark will miss service of Eriksen and Schoen, and Pandev will not be playing for Macedonia. So you should discover that these players, by the time you aggregate them together, a lot of countries will be playing with weakened teams because some of them represent the main players in their teams. Like Eriksen is the pivot for Denmark. For Macedonia, Pandev is their biggest player. Then Perisic, Brozovic, very important to Croatia, though they have the likes of Luka Modric there. Then Romelu Lukaku, top scorer of Belgium's top scorer, will not be playing. So already, most of these teams will be missing the services. So what does this tell you about international football and the effect of COVID-19? It's beginning to bite out.
Yeah, it's beginning to bite out, and, part of this is, due to the fact that I think a lot of people are relaxed a little bit. They don't tend to keep to that, standard which has brought us this far. If you remember, when they started, they were actually very, very strict, with the COVID-19 protocols. But now I believe, they started to relax the standard, and this is the result we are seeing right there. But at this point in time, I believe those that will benefit from this are actually the club. Considering the players have been playing every 3 days, and
So
you
no
know,
risk of injury from international
yeah,
football.
no risk of injury from international break, and this will give them time to relax and get ready for
Recuperate, yeah.
for for next fixtures.
But it's good news that players from Napoli were not banned. So otherwise, we'll not be having Victor Osimhen for this weekend match.
Yeah, I think they've had their own fair share of the COVID-19 issue. If you remember, the last game, Victor Osimhen missed that game because of the fact that some of his teammates actually tested positive. So I think they've gone past that phase as far as Napoli is concerned. So it's left for the other clubs to deal with it.
The chairman of the club, De Laurentiis, I understand that was actually working on not releasing Osimhen. So I'm sure he would have wished that their own happened this period so that Osimhen would not be able to come to Nigeria.
But at this point, I believe there's nothing he can do. Osimhen is coming to play for Nigeria, and it's a good one for Nigeria.
But then again, let's not forget that FIFA, UEFA has made it mandatory that clubs are not mandated to release their players because of these COVID-19 issues.
Yeah.
So if there are fears that a player may go out for international matches and come back infected because of the prevalence of COVID-19 in that particular country is going to.
Yeah.
The club has the right to hold on to that player.
Yeah.
So again, let's not even be too happy because the man can wake up tomorrow and say because Osimhen is not coming, and there's not much we could do about it. But so far, if by today or by the weekend he had not said anything, I'm not sure that anything like that will happen.
Yeah, but this is where the patriotism of the player comes to play. If you are a top club, there's nowhere you'd rather be during the international break than playing for your country. So I believe Victor Osimhen on his own will want to come and play, and they know how important it is to them. So they might not want to at this point in time upset him, with that kind of condition, owing to the fact that at Napoli right now, Victor Osimhen is a key player, and they regard him highly. Very, very highly at at Napoli. So I think they want to keep him happy so as he can improve and play very well for the club.
Let's look at Italy now, because this is all emanating from Italy. These are players that play in Italy that have been banned from traveling.
Yeah.
And while some of these national teams that they belong to, that they play for, may be missing them, 1, 2, I think the highest is about 3, Argentina. Italy itself missing about 12 players, 12 regulars, and they have important fixtures coming up this week and next week. They are playing Estonia in a friendly, and of course they are playing Poland in the UEFA Nations League. So these are important fixtures for them, and they're missing as much as 12 regular players. And the coach already is down with COVID-19, so the assistant will take charge. So both from the bench to the players, it's already a weakened team.
Yeah.
And looking at the overall scenario concerning COVID-19, are we not actually approaching a very dangerous curve whereby we may have to start thinking of, because at the end of the day, if it persists like this, some matches will have to be called off because there will be no point playing because of drop in quality.
Yeah, because at this point in time, the COVID-19, some countries are actually thinking of going back,
total lockdown.
to another lockdown again, which is not, good for, football and sports generally. So I don't know if there's a way, they can reduce these international matches, like they reduce the number of times, players will get to travel for international matches, so as, we don't get to see players going to play for their countries and then coming back infected. So at this point in time, FIFA, UEFA, and every other person involved,
governing bodies,
they have to sit down and discuss.
Maybe they should toe the line of CAF, where they now qualifiers are now played at a particular venue.
Yeah, I think that
country
would be
will
better.
host it, like we are preparing for the WAFU.
Yeah,
supposed to have been hosted by Togo, but because of spike in COVID-19 cases in that country, they had to shelve it. But we hear that Ghana and Niger have been placed on standby.
Yeah.
So the plan is that they're going to congregate at a particular venue.
Yeah.
So that you won't need to travel to different countries. You just face one country, and whatever going to happen, that you try to control it and continue within that country.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where UEFA and the world we need to borrow a leaf from Africa,
Exactly.
at least for once.
Exactly. I think that's also an option. I think the best one at that. This will actually reduce, the chances of players, contacting this virus, owing to the fact that, they're going to be in one venue and, movement is going to be restricted, so to say, because, they are camped in one particular place. And if a particular player is moving out, you are going to know. If somebody violates that COVID-19 principle, you will definitely
just
know.
isolate him.
Yeah, isolate that person. But in the case where you have to travel down
countries
from Europe, probably he's coming to Nigeria, you don't know where and where he's going to visit. But in case there you have everybody converge in the same venue, just like it was done in NBA, and that was how they were able to finish the season. I believe FIFA, UEFA, all those bodies should take a cue from what CAF has done.
Anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed. The COVID-19 issue is not going away, and we are hoping that we'll make the best of the situation. That's what football authorities are trying to do, trying to make the best of the situation. They are quite aware of the risk involved, but then how can we go around it to ensure that sporting activities, and football in particular, still goes on? So we'll keep our fingers crossed and see whether some of these matches will eventually take place, because if you get to a point where the teams will just say, we can't raise the maximum number of players required, which is about, I think, 13, because the rule is that if more than 13 players in a team test positive for COVID-19, the team can actually ask for the match be cancelled. So we'll continue to see what event has unfolded, and rest assured that we'll be serving them to you on this program. It's still the Grand Sports Center. We'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some very key happenings over the weekend in the leagues across Europe. Stay with us. Yeah, welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. Moving on, matches were played across Europe in the league last weekend, and some very, very interesting results and interesting fallouts. I think the issue of VAR talking about video assistant referee, was actually brought in to reduce controversy.
Yeah.
But it is now causing the most controversy, sorry to say, because hardly any match takes place without the issue of VAR coming up. The match between Leicester and Wolves, particular one in the English Premier League, a match that Leicester won by 1-0, courtesy of a penalty scored by Jamie Vardy. But then, leading up to the penalty, a ball struck the hand of a Wolves player, and from every indication, it appeared, though the player's hand was raised, talking about Kim Max-Kilman, though his arm was raised, but it was in a natural position, In natural position, your hands have to be where you are running. So in such a situation, you're not supposed to be penalized for that, because that's where your hand, since you are in motion, that's how your hand is supposed to be placed. But then a penalty was awarded after consulting VAR. And for what a year, the chief of VAR, talking about the chief executive, the referee in charge of VAR in England, Niels Warburg, was seen trying to actually tell the referee in charge, the video assistant referee in charge, that probably he may have made a mistake, because he was shown demonstrating why Max Kilman's hand were in natural position, and that penalty was supposed to be awarded.
Yeah.
Football, once the goal has been scored, kickoff have been taken, it's hard to reverse the decision. I've hardly seen a match where after the goal was scored, they now said they should come and replay it. So this issue of VAR, it was, like I said earlier, meant to stop controversy, but now becoming very controversial. How do we go around it? What else can we do? Is there anything else that we can do to ensure that the right decisions are taken at every point in time?
I think all that boils down to the fact that, VAR, as VAR is not actually the problem. The problem there is, the individuals, who are handling, who are handling this VAR. The issue with VAR is that, the job of, the video assistant referee, is to point out a particular incident, and you allow the referee to take, the decision. But the problem now is, referees have different interpretations to whatever decision they have to take. Like you just mentioned, according to the law, if a ball struck the arm of a player who is running, probably running to go and defend, you cannot run with your arm close to your body.
Whether defending or moving, there's a particular way your hands move.
When you're running, you can't control that. So at this point in time, it all boils down to the application. I don't know if there's a way they can bring these referees back and show them, okay, this is what we want to be seeing. But at this point in time, different referees, different interpretation, and it all boils down to the
just simply telling us that this VAR or no VAR, we are still in charge.
I think that's decisions what I'm saying.
because VAR shows you how it is, you interpret it differently. Well, going on, another match that has a lot of talk about was in Italy, was in Spain, where Real Madrid lost by 4-1. We've seen them lose before this season. They lost to Cadiz 2-0.
Yeah.
We talked about it. Then they bounced back, beat Barcelona, Champions League. They won their match. In fact, there has been a kind of resurgence. They thought that they were going to continue in that way. All of a sudden, they came crashing down. 4-1, it ended last night at Valencia, whipped Real Madrid by 4-1. And one name, Carlos Sola, stands out. He scored 3 penalties in that match.
Yeah.
So what are we seeing? This up and down, this consistency issue. Why is Real Madrid having it?
I think yesterday they were not actually clinical in front of goal. They dominated possession, created a lot of chances. But if you compare, their chances converted, chance conversion rate is 6%. Which is something they have to work on, and it shows. Since Ronaldo left, they've not replaced Cristiano Ronaldo, and that is beginning to tell. I don't want to take credit from Benzema. Benzema has been doing that job.
He limped off injured yesterday.
Yeah, age is not on his side.
Could that be the reason?
I believe so. I believe that could also be part of the reason. Considering the number of possession they have, they're supposed to kill off that game even before Valencia scored their first goal. But then Valencia as a team were more clinical. I think they have a 50% conversion rate compared to Real Madrid 6.
What of Sergio Ramos? We were celebrating him last week when he made scored his 100 goal as a defender. No mean feat by any standard. The defender scoring 100 goals in his career, and he ranks up there as one of the best ever of the game. But yesterday he was caught handling the ball, something like an amateur player would do. And does it just tell you generally about the mentality of the Madrid team?
I think
are they just flattering to deceive?
I think that's a typical Sergio Ramos. On his day, he's unplayable, but whenever he's having a bad game, you tend to see
it affects the entire team because he's the leader.
The entire team. Yeah.
He didn't play well yesterday, and you could see that the defense was in shambles.
Yes, exactly. So I think the problem generally, is that Madrid has been inconsistent, especially this season. When you think, okay, they are beginning to have it now. They are beginning to pick up. This point, the next minute you see them dropping again.
Okay, talking about inconsistency, just about inconsistency. which team is more inconsistent this season than Arsenal in the Premier League? Last week, they beat almighty Man United at Old Trafford. Then now they fell through. Fine, Aston Villa has shown us this season that they have what it takes to be the big team.
Yeah.
They beat Liverpool 7-2. But then in recent times, they lost last week 4-3 to Southampton, talking about Aston Villa. So their performance has not been up there. Then Arsenal were like on the eye, beat Man United, won in Europe, and now when you thought that they will continue in that form, they came crashing down 3-0.
So first of all, let me say that's the English Premier League for you. You know, on a bad day, you know, teams will punish you, no matter how small the team is. They'll punish you if you are not up to that level that they know you are. If you watch Arsenal's game yesterday, I don't think there's any particular thing I'll say, okay, Arsenal did well in this particular regard. You know, I don't have anything to say about the entire team. When I was beginning to think, you know, Arteta, you know, actually had a plan coming into Arsenal team, and I was beginning to feel, you know, okay, Arsenal, let's give him time. You know, this happened, and yesterday.
You just made a better team.
Yeah,
And what do you say about Oli Watkins? Only last season he was in the championship playing for Brentford, and they missed out they played the playoff, but they lost to Fulham in the semi-final of the playoff.
Yeah.
No, they played the final against Fulham.
They played against Fulham.
But then he was very good in the championship. Aston Villa took a gamble on him.
Yeah.
This is the first time in the Premier League. He scored 3 goals against Liverpool when they beat Liverpool 7-2. He scored 2 goals yesterday. In fact, so far this year, he has scored 6 goals. Oli Watkins, is this another new star on the rise?
I think one thing I like about him is the fact that, you know, he plays for the team. You know, his hold-up play is top-notch. Yeah. You know, you watch when he was Gabriel Magalhaes was on him yesterday. Saw how he was able to handle the ball. You know, bring his teammate into the game. I think that's an asset. You know, and I think nobody actually saw that coming.
Couldn't benefiting from the creativity of Grealish and Barkley. He has 2 creative players playing beside him.
Yeah. So I believe, you know, Villa, you know, after, you know, escaping relegation by, you know, whisk, you know, the finger last season, you know, they bought well. They brought in players, different set of players. Now I think they brought in the goalkeeper. You know, Martinez, who was at Arsenal. Yeah. So he was a reserve goalkeeper at Arsenal, but he said that he wants to play. That if Arsenal do not assure him that he's going to play, that he wants to leave. And I believe so far so good. He has been a kind of revelation at Villa. You know, Villa defensive unit, they were not at their best last season.
Let's just say credit to Dean Smith.
Yeah.
He has done a very good job as manager of Aston Villa.
Yeah.
In German Bundesliga, the big guys was a battle of the big teams as Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund met. Bayern won 3-2, and then they've gone back to top of the league. But then we know that Dortmund have been riding high this season. Erling Haaland was involved in a clash with Joshua Kimmich, and that has ruled Kimmich out till January. Yeah. One of the fallouts of that match.
Yeah.
How much of a blow is the absence of Kimmich to Bayern Munich's quest for the Bundesliga title and also the Champions League? We know the role he played in the Champions League win last season.
I think Kimmich is a key player. He's a good player. You know, considering he's also versatile as well. When you have
plays in midfield,
he plays in midfield, right full back. You can even play as a central defender as well. So I think he's going to be missed. He's a leader in that team. You know, when you compare, you know, what he has done, he has shown even above his age. You know, coming into the team as a young man, he has developed himself. You know, playing. I think all that is actually partly down to the fact that he played among the so-called big names.
He goes through the ranks.
He
knows the system very well.
He knows the system very well.
If there's one player that can interpret the Bayern on the pitch of play,
it's Kimmich.
Well, moving on back to La Liga, Barcelona came back to winning ways. They beat Real Betis 5-1.
Yeah.
And Messi scored 2 goals, 1 penalty and 1 from open play.
Yeah.
He has not scored from open play all season.
Yeah.
So he's getting back to his best. But then the big news was that he didn't start the match. Messi on the reserve bench.
Yeah.
That's a very unusual sight.
Yeah, I think Barca fans, they might not be happy with this, but the fact is, Messi is not going to be there all his life. I think he's gradually winding down in his career. So at this point in time, Barca, I believe they should start preparing for life without Messi. Probably Messi might even leave next season. We don't know.
Because his contract is ending.
Yeah, his contract is ending next season. Yeah, so I think it's just and right for the coach to build or prepare for a future without Messi in it, and I believe that's the right thing to do.
Okay, and in Italy, AC Milan, they are topping, but they had a scare yesterday. Verona were leading 2-1 up till the last minute of extra time. And Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who has been a talisman for Milan this season, missed a penalty in that match, but he made up for it by scoring the equalizer. AC Milan, I've been saying it that this is a team, this is a resurgent Milan, but they lost in the Europa League, surprisingly, by 3-0 to Lille. And but then could that result have affected their psychology playing against Verona? Because that was just about 4 or 3 days later, because that was actually, they have not lost in the Serie A this season. And for Verona for them to have labored to even get a draw against Verona let me not go there yet. Could the loss to Lille have been a factor?
I think at every point in time, you're in football, even in other sports, you're bound to see this kind of thing happening. Where by the way, their match against Lille, it was a match against another informed team. It's not like Lille were actually bad. They also lost over the weekend, and this is their first loss. Their first loss as far as the season is concerned. So Lille, against Lille, they played against another informed team, and Lille actually took advantage of that match, and they came out victorious. But in this particular game, I was kind of expecting AC Milan to win, but it never came to be. But the fact is,
credit to Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, credit to him. He
at the age of 38.
Yeah, at the age of 38, he's still doing it. I think he has up to 8 goals now.
Yes, top scorer.
Goals, he's a top scorer. But another low, low side of it is that he missed the penalty. This is the third penalty he's missing in a row.
Maybe he should stop taking the penalty.
Yeah, he said he to confirm, that he's going to take, give way for another person to take that penalty.
That's a magnanimous on his part, because some players are so selfish. I'm the penalty taker of this team. Anytime there's penalty, whether I win or lose. Anyway, lastly, the big derby in England, Liverpool and Man City, it didn't actually live up to expectations. The first half was explosive, but the second half was kind of laid-back approach. I'm sure that both managers were just happy with the 1-1 draw. But one interesting incident was the injury to Liverpool right fullback Trent Alexander-Arnold. On a good day, injury to players is not a big deal in sports. But we saw the conversation between Jurgen Klopp, manager of Liverpool, and Pep Guardiola, the manager of Man City at the end of the match. And Guardiola confirmed that that their conversation was centered around the injury of Trent Alexander-Arnold, because both managers have been in the forefront of saying that the league is not taking care of the players. During the lockdown, when they came back, they made provision for 5 substitutes to be allowed. When this season started, they went back to normal 3 substitutes. And these 2 managers, along with even Solskjaer of Manchester United, have been saying that they should go back to the 5 substitutes so that players will have enough time to rest. Teams will have enough, they can be able to rotate their teams around and be players. Because now they play week in, week out, both in Europe and domestically. So they were talking about that. So what does this make about the future of the game going forward? Are we going to see some clubs talking about the big teams now? Man City, Liverpool, Man United are involved. Are we going to see a reversal back to the 5 substitutes?
I don't think there's going to be a reversal. Before the league, the FA actually agreed, to have them continue with the three substitution. You know, they went into a kind of an election. You know, part of the problem is the fact that the smaller teams see it as an advantage to the so-called big teams. You know, because of the fact that they can afford to change the team, and the team will still play the same way. But these small teams
have the same quality.
They still have the same quality. But these small teams, you know, their plan basically is to defend and strip the life out of the so-called big boys. So I think the three sub would still give them that advantage, owing to the fact that okay, they can play with that. But with 5 substitutions, that's bringing like a new team into the game. You can decide to change 5 players at once, and then it change the mode of the game.
Yes.
So, and the smaller teams, I think they are greater in number than the big teams.
And it's paying off for the smaller teams. Yeah. Because if you look at the league table in England, we have Leicester topping the table.
Yes.
We have the likes of Southampton there already.
Yeah.
But the right likes of Man City, Man United, and Arsenal, they are down.
Yeah.
Look at Serie A, AC Milan. In recent times, they are no longer a big team because it's been long they even got close to winning the league.
Yeah.
So that's why we're talking about resurgence this season. They are topping though. So, but then second place is Sassuolo.
Yeah.
So Juventus is about fourth or fifth.
Yeah.
About. In Spain, it's Real Sociedad that is topping.
Yeah.
And we have the likes of Villarreal also with them.
Yeah.
So it's paying off for the big small teams.
So, yeah, it's paying for the small teams
already. And this is what they were aiming at when they took that decision. That, but most other countries are still doing the 5 substitutions.
Yeah, some are still doing the 5.
It's only England that has not done that. So you could say that the small teams are benefiting from it, and there's no way they're going to back down.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to get their pound of flesh, and they're going to take it with both hands, I guess so.
Yeah.
So, well, it's still the Grand Sports Center. So much to talk about leagues across Europe. Those are just a few high points we decided to just pick out because they presented some of the biggest news that emanated over the weekend from the matches played in various leagues across Europe. We'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll talk Formula One as we understand that the Bahrain Open, which is scheduled to take place on November 29 to December 6th, will be opening up to spectators, but not every spectator, just families of health workers. Why are these guys so important, families of health workers? We're going to talk about it when we come back from the short break. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center and straight to the Bahrain Grand Prix. Said only family of health workers and essential workers will be allowed because they want to use it to pay tribute to them for the good work they've been doing since the COVID-19 pandemic started. How important is this kind of gesture towards people whose activities affect the lives of the general public?
I think it's a good one, you know, considering the fact that, you know, a lot of allegations, you know, and counter allegations have been leveled against Bahrain, you know, the United Arab Emirates, the Saudi Arabia, you know, about their human rights record. So coming up with this initiative is a very, very good one, you know, from them. It shows, you know, it's a good step in the right direction, the right step in the right direction. And, you know, it kind of shows, you know, that they appreciate the health workers. You know, they're the frontliners, and, you know, they've been doing their best to make sure that, you know, they keep everyone safe. And I think it's encouraging, and I believe this will encourage them to even do more. That's my take on that.
I think that will be the major fallout from that race, because from every indication, before that race holds on the 29th of November and the 6th of December, because there are 2 races in Bahrain.
Yeah.
One will hold on the 29th of November, another on the 6th of December. We discovered that the Constructors' Championship is already wrapped up. Mercedes have won the championship for this year.
Yeah.
Then the champion in terms of driver, who is the driver, the champion driver of the year, Lewis Hamilton will likely nick that when they compete in Turkey next week, because of the points he has amassed. So it's likely by the time they compete in Turkey next week, would have emerged the champion, the Formula One champion of the year.
Yeah.
While his team Mercedes have won the constructors championship already. So by the time we get to Bahrain on 29th, everything is wrapped up. Bahrain will just be a formality.
Yeah.
But with this gesture, he can also bring a lot of spotlight to that event.
I think so. You know, Hamilton at this point in time is driving for fun. You know, I don't think there's anybody out there who I can say, you know, is up to his level. You know, Bottas is trying his best. Let me say, if Hamilton is not there, I'm sure, you know, Bottas will be at the top right now. So kudos to him. But at this point in time, you know, Hamilton is on another different level. And
yes,
I believe he'll try to, you know, make it a kind of fun fair, you know, for the fans. You know, I know fans have not been, you know, coming to watch the Formula One and some other sports as well. But this time around, we're going to see a very different, you know, scenario with fans coming in. You know, not just fans, their health workers and their families. So I believe Hamilton will want to
despite you may have won, want to put up a great show to entertain them.
To appreciate them.
I believe so too, because he's a professional. They are professionals. This is what they do for a living, and they are there to entertain the fans at all times. So still, the Grand Sports Center will take Super Eagles watch now. We'll take a short break, and during the break, we'll have the Super Eagles watch. When we come back, we'll have our closing formalities as we gradually wrapping up on the program today. Hello and welcome to Super Eagles Watch, where we keep you up to speed with the performance of Nigerian players across the globe. We start from the Italian Serie A, where Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen got back to scoring ways with a goal in Napoli's 1-0 win over Bologna. Osimhen scored the only goal of the match in the 23rd minute. In the English Championship, Super Eagles defender William Troost-Ekong scored his first goal in English football as his 66th-minute header for Watford helped the Hornets to a 3-2 win over Coventry. In the Dutch Eredivisie, Super Eagles goalkeeper Maduka Okoye bounced back from conceding 4 goals the previous weekend against ADO Den Haag as he posted a clean sheet in Sparta Rotterdam's 2-0 win against RKC Waalwijk. Also in Holland, Super Eagles right fullback Tyrone Boye continued the impressive form that saw him included in the Eredivisie Team of the Week the previous week as he played all 90 minutes in FC Twente's 4-2 win over ADO Den Haag. In Belgium, Paul Onuachu failed to score in the Jupiler League for the first time in about 8 weeks. Rather, Onuachu left the scoring to Theo Bongoda, who scored both goals in Geng's 2-1 win over St. Truden. While Onuachu featured for 86 minutes before being substituted, compatriot Cyril Dessers was an unused substitute. In Scotland, Joe Aribo scored a brace as Glasgow Rangers hammered Hamilton Academical 8-0. The Super Eagles midfielder scored Rangers' third and fourth goals before he was substituted in the 69th minute. Leon Balogun, on the other hand, saw out the match as he put in another impressive 90-minute shift. In the English Premier League, Nigerian-born midfielder Eberechi Eze was the star of the show as he inspired Crystal Palace to a 4-1 win over Leeds United. Eze scored one and provided an assist in the win at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace manager Roy Hodgson heaped praises on the midfielder, who is being courted by both England and Nigeria for senior international football. Also in the Premiership, Ademola Lookman did not have such a good outing as he missed a penalty in Fulham's 1-0 loss to West Ham. The attacker, who has pledged his international allegiance to Nigeria, had the opportunity to pull his London-based club level in the match, but saw his Panenka penalty saved in the closing seconds of the match. That's Super Eagles Watch for today. We'll continue to keep you posted on the performance of Nigerian players across the globe on the program. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. That was a Super Eagles watch where we got to tell you how your players, the Nigerian Super Eagles players, are doing for their various clubs. This is where we wrap it up on the program for today. We hope you've had a nice time with us. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same station. And as usual, we're looking forward to having you join us once again. I want to thank Austin Arome for being here with us.
It's always my pleasure to be here.
And we are three, but today Blessing is not around. I didn't tell you at the beginning of the program. It was an omission. But hopefully by tomorrow we'll be complete again and we'll be doing what we know how to do best, serving you the latest sports stories and information as it happens across the globe. I am Donald Agbabobo on behalf of my colleague and the entire production crew. Enjoy the rest of the day.